Oh, hello. Hello, can you go? It's down some. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh. She's coming up the floor. It is the Twilight Zone. Hello. Yeah, I realized my camera. Yeah. This is kind of like a review. Let me get you over here. You don't want to look at my ugly monkey. Oh, look at that canvas over there. How about that? Look at that. We've gone over a lot of stuff in the last few videos and took a sidestep, did some crafting, and got a sketchbook sitting on my easel. And you're thinking, why? We're supposed to be painting. Yeah, I know. You can paint on these, if it's the right weight paper. You've got different weights of paper. I don't know that I've touched on that yet, and that's very important if you plan on doing watercolor or the canvas board or canvas isn't in your budget, but paper is, because there's like a bunches and you can like take, and it's great to have an idea of, because like no matter where you are, if it's about 90-pound weight, that's about a medium weight paper. You couldn't do watercolor on this without it eventually falling apart. You can do brush strokes though. Yeah, you can practice your brush on a sketchbook, and I would highly advise it if you want to get into things like floral painting, folk art painting, things like that, where the brush strokes make the painting what it is. Folk art painting is all about the brush stroke and how you load the brush. Donna Dewberry is the one that I knew about first. And I would watch those comma strokes and I get mad because I couldn't figure out how to angle my left hand to do it. And she did them effortlessly, and her floral painting was amazing. And so I dabbled a little bit in that with you guys recently, using a black canvas, because I saw this other lady who did a black canvas, and it was like you could see it. You knew there were beautiful paintings came out of that era. You had to use your imagination to kind of get drawn to it, and it just happens with Impressionist art. I love my little tabletop easel. Because I can take it anywhere. This comes down, it folds up. You can fold it up. I have another one that actually stores paint in it. It's what's called a plein air type of easel, which means you paint in the outdoors. You paint in the air. When you're just starting out paint, I showed you a picture or printout of a color. This is a real color wheel. I found it. You'll have different shades of red, blue, purple, green, orange, in that order. Now, I pose a contest to you guys watching to list the color of the rainbow in order from the ground up. And nobody did it. Does that mean you guys don't know what the rainbow looks like? You never seen one? I'm beginning to wonder. You don't go outside much, huh? I go outside all the time. I can't stay inside. I don't like staying inside. Photography of things. But your color wheel, and this is like I think it's like $3. It's an inexpensive one, but it's still functional and it does the job. It says how to use it. Did you know that? Did you know the color wheel is going to tell you how to use it? So what you do is you go to, you want to make an orange, some shade of orange. So you go to, and you know it has yellow in it, or you can go to yellow orange. Oh, yellow orange is red and yellow. Wow. How about that? It tells you on here exactly how many colors. It's align it with a color on the top edge of inside wheel. The result of this combination will appear in the window. Now, isn't that sweet? So if you take a yellow orange and you add red to it, that's what. So I flip this around, I go to the other side. Well, let's look at the blues and greens, because we did greens before, right? Well, if you take some blue-green, if you already have some blue-green paint, and you add to it black. Remember what I said about black making things too dark and you can't lighten them up? Yeah, well, if you add black to this bluish green, it's a really, really rich, dark, what? Teal. It's like a teal color or a turquoise color. It doesn't tell you how much to add to each other one. It doesn't say, it doesn't give you the recipe. So you have to play with it. But that it will give you that shade. So my suggestion is if you're going to use the color wheel to learn how to mix colors, mix mediums and the colors of those mediums, do it 1 teaspoon to it and dries on it forever. Um, so this is how you get to your colors. I also talked about having the difference between a white canvas and a dry canvas and what the benefits of it are. I have oil paints and I almost brought them out today for you guys, and I go, no, too soon, too soon. And I don't want to have to buy new brushes. All back for myself. And I'm always afraid I'm going to ruin them. My brushes so bad that I have to invest in new ones, and I don't like investing in new ones when I have really, really good ones that I'm using for the acrylic. But I do have the blending gel medium that I use for lengthening the dry time. I didn't have this one when we were talking about the primed canvas or canvas board, and that is gesso. I always talk about gesso. Well, there is a gesso for acrylic. So this is made in such a way that when you put it on your canvas, it's going to act just like oil paint in the respect of letting your paint move and with other mediums. I didn't know they made this for a while. And then when it came out, I don't know when this actually came out. I don't know if they have copyright dates on here or what. But it's made by Acme. And so it's on here. It's so darn small. I'm trying to see if that has a year. I can't read it. It's so tiny. And so if you're using it for preparation, I said 3 different languages here. If you want it to be used for something transparent, it goes from transparent to opaque. So it means a light film. And half and half. Simple, isn't it? I saw that and said, this is like one of these, you don't have to think things. And that's wonderful that it's out there available to use. And I don't always use the traditional supplies. Like I said, today I'm using the top of a mayonnaise lid. And you probably want to put a mayonnaise lid for. This is for the the gesso, or if I was going to do the medium extender, the squeeze tube that I had before, to keep the acrylic from drying too quickly. But I'm not doing that today. I'm going to play with the gesso because I haven't used this in a very long time, and I'm excited. I like playing with stuff that I haven't messed with in a while. And I'm shaking it because I want to make sure it's anyway. So that's why when you're starting out first, not even as big as these. I mean, these are a good, 3 ounces or something. 2 ounces. This is a 2-ounce bottle. Get the little 1 ounce or 0.7, little squeeze tubes. That way you're not wasting money and you're not So I'm going to put the gesso in this lid. Isn't that a cool trick? Look how that sits in the air on top of it. It's a plate. It's perfect size. I've got a shower cap on there. Cheap dollar store shower cap. Just so I don't get the plate dirty and I don't have to throw away another palette. A mixing palette. So I'm going to put this in here. There's the gesso. It's a very white. It's thick, but it's very wet looking, which means it's going to smooth in on there. But we're not going to use this. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do it to the tablet. We could, but it would be really yucky after a while. And I've gotten 2 of these sets because I like them so much. You can use, I have a little lazy Susan here that I use. I try to use it where I have one designated just for acrylic brushes and one for oil. I thought I brought the second one upstairs and I didn't. So I have to go get it because I'm going to do a mini oil painting for you guys and show you how oil, and the first time you do it, how it can be kind of scary, but it's exciting at the same time. It tells you exactly what each brush is called and the type of brush strokes you can make with it. Isn't that cool? This was a set of 12, I think. 15. 15 paintbrushes. It was only like, I think it was $7. They are, they're grip friendly. They have this lovely, gel grip on them. Medium firm, extra firm. It's tack-on hair is what they call it. I call it something else because I get the ones they're white, they're stark white. I like those. And then of course the paint gets on it and changes the color. And then I got into using makeup brushes, which are really awesome, by the way. They're made with the same bristles because I looked at making homemade, makeup, and that's what you use. You use these, they're paintbrushes. But this, you can't feel the bristles on the brush in the store when they're in a package like this. But you can go to the loose brush section and find that same brush and then feel the brush and see, okay, it's soft but firm. So it would be perfect for acrylic. Okay, you can actually, go around and pretend like you're in the produce section in the store. And you're actually picking out brushes. They have a clear set, or the base of them is clear. They come in different colors. I like the clear with the yellow tip, or excuse me, it's the only red one I have, and I don't know why. And my purple ones must all be somewhere else. Well, they're not right here. They must be downstairs. This must be my oil set. But to go over that, I would love to try to duplicate these strokes. I never could. I just came up with my own style. I mean, you come up with your own style at some point. The gesso is not going to dry out on me, but I'm going to take this red. Write this little bit of red. I'm going to use it anyway. Make sure it's open. I think it's open. This was a different box of acrylics that I had. I had 2 boxes full. Yeah, it's open. And sometimes I go to use them and they're not open. I feel embarrassed. So we did blues, greens. We actually did red last time. This is you don't know. He looks like a cat. Doesn't look like a cartoon. I was very happy with it. Fan brush. This is that one that Bob Ross always used to make the little trees with. This is the fan brush. Now, there are different size fan brushes. He always used a wide one for the purpose of making sure you get those big, wide branches on those evergreens. You ever watched him do that stuff? Oh, yeah. There was another man that came before him. His name was Bill Alexander. I like that little man. So you get that kind of brushstroke. And I know it's not green. Don't freak out on me. I'm only on paper. I just load my brush up, both sides, just like this. Okay? And it's like you go like this, and you get smaller as you go up, and you can come back down like some other branches. You can even like make a little curve if you want. I actually did it. I'm shocked. That's because it's a good brush. And then I have my water and my dirty water back here. So I'm going to wipe this off first with a paper towel before I put it in the water. I don't want to use that water so dirty. I'm going to wipe that red paint off, a lot of that off into that little shower cap. You can use that plastic wrap too, by the way. You don't have to use your shower cap. I need plastic wrap. And I get it. See, so when you wipe off the extra with a paper towel, and you go to swish the rest of it out, it gets almost the rest of it all out. So you don't have worry about paint drying in your brush. So let's pick another shape brush. We've got, and I actually have this one here somewhere. This particular brush. This is called a flat. Well, it's a chisel brush. It's a flat chisel brush. And I'm trying to find mine. Chisel brush, where are you? It is, well, this is actually one of them. It's been used a lot because now the bristles are kind of like getting really soft. So you can do what's called double load. Now that double load means you load half of your brush with one color and half of it with the other. And then you put it on the canvas. That's how this Floral Girls do this box here. There's a bunch of them. I mean, these guys have been these guys have been used big time. So if you're going to double load, you're going to put your colors right next to each other because it makes it easier. Are you not open? I don't think Aston's open. I don't know. If it's dried up, I'll be mad. But when I had my shoulder surgery, I was painting everything. No, it's open. Oh, it's just really low. I must see. Oh, I used this for my seascape. Yeah, I got into seascapes when I had my shoulder surgery. It was a lot of fun. So this one, we're not going to double load it because that's the wider one. This one you would use for like if you want to make bricks, colored bricks this doesn't want to come out even though it's in there. I don't get it. It's water based. Why it won't come out? I don't know. See, it comes out that way. But when squeezed out, I don't know. Weird. So the smaller one of your flat chiseled edge, you just load it. And then you make that brush stroke. Even pressure is right across. And you see it's kind of like there. It's because they didn't get the even pressure across. Now, I could double load like the wider brush, but it's harder when they're narrow. So I'll get all the extra paint out. Take it back, clean it. I want it to be a clean double load. So I always thought it was funny when they said double load. So you take your brush and you load it up on one side with one color, okay? And then you load it up with the other color on the other side. And I probably did it wrong. Or maybe not. I could probably fix it. So now I've got two colors on the brush and a bit of it. You double load, you put a lot of paint in it. So then you go and you make that brush stroke even pressure. I hope I can do this. There, look at that. Isn't that neat? That's how you make a really cool sunset. So you have the dark and then you have the sun above the horizon. So that's a double load. And if I had a bigger brush to do that, and I think I do have a big one here because I was looking at it earlier. Oh yeah, this big monster thing. I wouldn't normally do it on this brush, but I do have one I can do it with. See, this one's about that wide, and I need this one. This is a good double load with brush. It's about 7/8 of an inch wide. Clean that one out. I've got my rag under there. I'm gonna put that back in. I'm gonna double load this one. Now, on this card, I kept this for the reason of showing you guys what you can do, and you could even triple load this. Whether you know or not, you could. So if I could do it with the gesso, like they have the blue and the white. So I'm gonna load it on one side with the blue, and then we'll take some of the gesso, which is the white, and load the other side. See, and then I'm gonna do it upside down. No, I'm not. I'm gonna do it this way. And you get a combo. That's when you go into your white, and yeah. Well, actually goes the other way. But see, it's double loaded, so it's not gonna do what I want to do. Isn't that funny? So we're gonna fix that. You can go back and fix this, especially if it's oil. It'll fix. You just go back, and now you got it the way it was. That's the great thing about oils. You just go back and keep redoing it, and then you can scrape the paint off that you don't want on there. So that's double loading. The trees. It's got a big wide end. I had one in here earlier, and I probably put it away. I hope I didn't. Hope I didn't, because it does a beautiful wash. I don't know if I have a smaller one or not. Let's see if I do. And you can do a wash with acrylics, but it's mostly done with watercolors. And that's why I don't typically do one or show how to do one, just for that reason. And I don't know where that brush is, but it sure isn't here. It's hiding from me. I was looking for the smaller version of it, and I do not even see that one, to be honest with you. It's it's a really rounded off edge, almost like this other, almost. but this one's been bent because this is what happens when you sit your paintbrush in the wheel and you don't take it out in a timely fashion. It will permanently bend your brush bristles and it doesn't act like it should. So you wet it and you go into your paint. And I always wet it a second time. I just do. I think it's better that way. I think it makes a better wash. And see, this is that paper, so you see how it's very, very flowy. It's like a little blue waterfall. And you can go behind it and put rocks up under there. Yeah, I'm giving you ideas, aren't I? So you can do it that way. You don't have to, but when you use extra water, it allows it to flow, and it's even on the canvas board. So that is your brush, same thing. And that's these little skinny guys, these little bitty skinny bristle things. Okay, and these makeup brushes as if they're double-ended. One of the ends is going to end up being bended. And if you can, you know that you're not going to use the other end, then you don't have to worry about it. But I use both ends most of the time. I just love this double-loaded stuff. I could never get it right. And then, of course, I've got messed up because the wrong colors on there. It's that you can do this. You can make it look like it's, different channels flowing into the same little bay area, just by the different colors coming and going back and forth like that. This is the challenge for me, the round one. Now the filbert is, I know I have a filbert here because I just used it. Not that one. Where are you, filbert? It's kind of narrow and sort of kind of squared off in the end, but not really. So it's a chameleon. I call it a chameleon. Where's my filbert? I had one. I think it's this guy. This one's still kind of wet because and I think it was on the end of one of those makeup brushes that I had out just a second ago. That blue one thingy. It's rounded off the corners, but not real long. So I'm gonna rinse this little. Oh, I'm gonna wipe it off with a towel. I put way too much paint in there for sampling, but you have to in order to get the right effect with the right amount of paint. So we're gonna put there. Oh, actually, I have a trash can there somewhere. Oh, I just found the rest of them. These are ones I took out of the little black case thing there to show you the different ones. I have an oil paint here too. This is huge. This is a very big brush. And we were talking about the one that does the comma marks or the flower stroke. And that one is this guy, which I rounded off as. And what was the other one? I said it's more narrow. No, that's this one. I'm sorry. The other one is literally round. And I don't see it. It's literally round. And that's probably why I can't ever make them because I forget and I get the wrong brush. There it is. Okay, can you tell the difference in the tip? This one, it's flat and rounded. This one is round and slightly pointed. This is the comma one. I'm going to try. I've watched these ladies do this so many times. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. And sometimes I will get this one. This is the one I tried to show you from before. Because it's been kind of this shape. This one is the same version as this. This is wider. So I don't want to use a little one to show you. We're going to use a big one. I know, I'm using more paint. I don't think there's another one in here smaller or in the medium size. I think they're all basically, most of these are very long handled to use as you stand to paint on a canvas. And I don't think there is another one in here. This has the round edge. Except this, where'd it go? I just saw it. This is red one, I think. I thought it was. But wasn't that? No, that's a single brush. But yeah, you don't want to do too much crazy stuff because you don't want to ruin them. I thought it was. And bristles are like that, but then they're actually like curved anyway. So I need this one, and I need the one that's round. Yeah, I just had it. I thought it. This. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to use that. I don't think I could do the. Oh, I could try to do a comma stroke with that. I don't know. I haven't done them in a while because I'm doing all these landscapes, And I need the round one that I just had in my hand, and I put it back. I put it back in here somewhere. And it was round. This one. This guy. Yeah, the clear handle. And the chisel one. That one is neat. To make leaves with that is so cool. I gotta find the chisel one. I've got one here. I love just playing with the chisel and brush. It's just way too much. Let's see. We're gonna have these three to play with and show you. Where's my little brush? There it is. Oh, I love that angle. It's the angle brush. Okay. So I'm gonna do this one first, just because I want to show you how to do that. And I'm gonna make these bright. The regular green I think is out, gone. So I'm gonna shake this real good. This is really, really watery, which makes me nervous with it. I don't like the consistency. It's not like thick. It doesn't sound thick, so I'm gonna look at it. It may be something where somebody put water in it by accident. I poured a yellow out last night. It was watery as the dickens. Let's see what this one does. It's not too bad. It's about it's borderline. So I'm going to take some of the green, and it's variegated. I'm going to try. So you load up like flower with the white center. You want the color at the point, and you want the white on the inside because that's where your stamen pops out, stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and load that point up with green. And I'm going to try to get a variegated, excuse me, nose is itchy, and then white on the other side. Okay, I'm just using the gesso in this case. And I haven't done this in a while. I was playing with it the other day. So to do a leaf, it starts with the point, right? Or you can go like this. You can, and then you can actually flip it around. I haven't, like I said, and then do the opposite side. I did this wrong. No, that's right. Never mind. You go like this, and you can turn it around and do it the other way. These are lousy leaves. I'm out of practice like this. Oh, mess. Let's see if I can figure it. There's not enough paint on here. That's my problem. I just realized I don't have any paint on here. And I didn't load up both sides. I didn't load up both sides of the point. And you really should have a lot of paint if you're going to do this technique. Okay. Alrighty. So when I'm doing a vase, I usually have one leaf pointed down. And now in the picture, they're not actually doing that. They're just kind of going, they're making the comma. So you can do the comma stroke to get something. I was never good at these, by the way. I'm a landscape girl. I don't do flowers. But I'm willing to learn and try. And that's why I keep practicing. You just turn it like in. It does it automatically. Like start on one side. And you come back. Now I'm doing it too far. You just want to go like, you just want to go as far as you need to. Now it's acting like this on the paper because the paper is not thick enough. It doesn't have enough texture. So I'm not going to play on that paper much more to do them because this is no rules art, right? There's no rules. I don't have to make them. I don't have to feel like if I don't make them right, that I'm failing you all or anything. I have a hard time doing them. So I'm going to take this beautiful orangey red, or this vermilion, and I'm going to load that baby up. I'm going to try to do a combo. Let's see if we can put a combo in the water. Let's see, I'm used to doing it the other way. Too much pressure all the way. I'm not right-handed, but I'm going to try something. Now that would be great. Let me do my left hand. Let's steal that thing off of there. Kind of roll it around. Now let's see if I can do one. I'm doing too much. It takes practice, and I just don't. I don't practice it enough, and I really should. Get that technique down. Almost. I'm getting there. I have a fat one. I got a fat comet. Look at this. You see that? I have a fat comet. I'm gonna try to do it with the blue. And I don't care if the colors mix it in, so it ends up being purple. So if I was gonna do like another one here, and I've seen them do this where they touch it and just kind of bring it up. This is getting looking. And so then I'm gonna take the green part and I'm gonna try to see if I can. Well, don't really want to do a leaf with this, but you can do a combo kind of leaf, right? Like, so that kind of looks like a bud of something. I don't know what, but just what I said. It's for shading. And you're just gonna go. This isn't the shader brush, is it? No. And I have these brushes that are in the wash. They need to come out so we can look at a canvas. Now we're gonna look at a canvas, but we're also gonna do some color wheel. Like I said, this is a review. So we're going to review a few little things when it comes to mixing and learning your perspective. And when you are playing with your colors and you're learning to start with very pale and work your way forward to very dark because it's right there, then you're learning your perspective. I'm going to show you how to get to your perspective with the colors. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take that, clean that brush off real good. So I'm going to load up this, not this little canvas behind it. What is that? Oh yeah, I call that my whitewash painting. I'm contemplating changing it and just making it more colorful. It's very denim looking. That's kind of faded out. It's just sailboats. And this mast is reflected in the water, very pale. And anyone can do art. It's your art. You don't have to do what somebody else wants you to do. Now to make this go fast, I have a big brush here somewhere. I brought it out. This is my 3-inch brush. And why it's got all this stuff on this brush, I have no idea. It must have been sitting in the work cabinet. And it's very stiff, which means when I put it on there, it's gonna so it's gonna go where I want it to go. Except that the what do you call it? The board keeps moving because I don't have it clamped down. So we're pretending like this is real paint. Yeah. And I've seen this technique where they have the wet on wet, or just like the little ones. But I'm going to keep the gesso for mixing flow. It will flow. Now that I know I have the right fan brush to do those happy little trees. I'm going to make happy little trees. I hope. I like the idea of Fire Lake so much that I wanted to do something fall in Fire Lake. which is a combination of oranges and yellows and red. So we're going to be playing with some more of the red family colors. To do this, this is a really bad brush to use because once you try to clean it, stuff all comes out, water comes out everywhere. I'm going to leave it there, or at least off to the side. I'm glad I put this plastic thing on here. So, wow. To find your perspective, I'm going to turn this canvas because it's more eye appealing to me for a landscape kind of thing. Also gives you more. So I'm going to turn it. And I'm getting messy already. Okay, so this is your view. This is what you're seeing. You can also, for practice, do fruits. Do bowls of fruit. And your horizon that gives you your perspective, your depth of field in the photography world, we call it depth of field, is 1. That's 1/3, 2/3 up. And you're going to go, that's not enough sky. Think about it. You want that sky to be so far off that you're like, man, that's a long trip out there. My favorite thing to show is depth or perspective. It's a covered bridge. Now, not every state has covered bridges, but where I grew up, we had them everywhere because we had a lot of Pennsylvania in the area. So that is how I learned it, by painting covered bridges. Now, when it comes to a geometric building, getting your perspective right is tricky, but if you keep in mind your rule of, this is so funny, rule of thirds is in photography also. Your rule of thirds is 1/3, 2/3. And then, of course, the third is the top part. And I want this to be kind of smoky looking, but fall. So I'm trying to figure out how to picture that so that it makes sense. And I got wet paint up here, and I'm like, think about a fall sky. It has lavender in it. It has blues. It has all these, and it's going to be way off in the distance. I'm going to attempt it. I've never done this one like this before. I can show you my covered bridge. The oil one looks wonderful. The perspective's a little off because of the way I had it on the table to paint it with, but it passed. So I'm going to go with, so let's tackle the sunset part. Way off in the distance. Remember, we go from the distance, we come forward. And then I'll show you how we're going to put that little covered bridge in there over a water source. Yeah. And that bridge is going to be right here. So that you'll be able to see how you actually get that. Where you can say, like, that's a long bridge. I'm only going to span from here to here. Okay? I love covered bridges. They're way too much fun. Now, since I'm doing, that's a type of wash. And you're like, huh? The effect the paint does. The paint looks like it's washed away. It's like faded, and that's why they call it a wash. So I've got that very vibrant teal blue down there, but I want a violet color, like a really light type of violet color. So I'm going to see if this box has got a purple one. I'm just using what I have, and if it doesn't have exactly what I'm looking for, I'll pick something else. And I'm going to pick this one. This is a cobalt blue, which is kind of I call brassy blue. I'm going to put it right with that turquoise blue that's down here. And right next to each other. Because I want to kind of get both of them together. I want them to kind of hold hands. And the sun's already gone down. So all we're doing of different it's your painting, it's your art. You don't have to do what everybody else does. Do what you want to do. You can make it all purple if you want. There are some people who make some beautiful landscapes, like silhouette, just in one color or two colors. I'm thinking about doing that. We did red, no greens, right? Oh, we did blue. Okay, so we can't. We have to do the orange and the blues with it. Okay. No, I said so. A little bit of water. Oh, what else? I'm just going to take it across stuff. Let's see what I get. And that stuff is not the best gesso in the world. I haven't used it in a long time, and it is very dry. To me, it is extremely dry. It's like the paint's already drying. So to fix that, I'm taking a cloth for this. And I'm going to put it up there. Now I have my movement. Now I have my wash. See how it just goes across? Okay. Keeping mental, you're going to stop right here. That's your third. That's your third of the way down or up 2/3. So, as a way of getting my effect. This is a non-consequential sky. There's like no clouds, no nothing in here. I have put them in there, but just not yet. I want you to get the idea. It's very pale in the distance, and as you come forward, it gets darker. So as I come more forward, I put a little bit more blue in there. Yeah, just a little bit more. Now I'm at my third. Okay, I'm my third early evening sky. I'm calling it fall, but I haven't had. The sun's already going down, so I don't have to worry about oranges and stuff. Now, I don't know how to do a pop rock, guys. So, there's a happy little bird in there. And there's a water source. So, I want to do my backdrop first and then put the bridging on top of it. So it's more, it draws you in more in mind. Somebody is wanting me on my phone. I do apologize. They don't know I'm teaching stuff. What is it? Ding ding. I hate messages sometimes. I did that last night. I thought for sure. Oh, I did send it. I am in the process of putting something together. And something's in my mailbox, and I'll have to go get it in a little bit. But, so, the covered bridges that I grew up with were red, like a barn red. And this is going to be dark red in the front, and it's going to be pale towards the back. So, if you don't know what the Alleghenies are, they're mountains. And for the Alleghenies, there could be a little bit of grayish, lavenderish, of a, I think this is a ultramarine. Not much paint in it, and it's like, just a tiny bit. I don't want a whole lot because it's supposed to be what? Faded in the background. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of it. And it has a little bit more of a watery consistency. I'm going to grab that, grab some white, mix it, just off in the distance. Just kind of, it doesn't have to be specific. I'm just like, I don't know what those mountains look like out there. I'm just putting them in there for me. There's going to be one big monster. There's always one big one in the area. I don't know why, but they are. And then you just kind of hold it. Now these look like ripples. I am not Bob Ross, but you want to remember your light source. My light source is going to be coming from there to there because I want that side of my covered bridge to be being hit a little bit. Not a lot. I want this side to have a shadow. Okay? Just like that. Now this looks kind of to smooth it out like that. And now I want to give shade or shadows and texture from a distance. Now once I come forward, this is all going to fade back. You're like, okay, that's not much to it. So in order to get that, you're going to put, I'm using the wrong brush to do this. I just realized it. It's making it thick. So I'm going to take it off, put that brush in there, let it clip. This is the chisel brush, the angle brush. That's the one I need because it has a point on one side, and you can do that. You can go boom. You can do like this. A shadow on the far side. Just load it with some of the dark blue on the other side. Now you've seen Bob Ross do this, right? Yeah. This is how he gives you the illusion that it's coming. You're going into these hot things, but right now they're real tiny. I can even put another mountain ranger, and this happened. This is actually where I grew up, not too far from there. That's exactly what you saw. You saw really faded out things in the distance. And what you're doing is you grab it and you pull it. You grab it and you pull it. You find your own brush strokes. Others are mine. You know, I just kind of do it. And then this one looks like it had a mountain behind it. That was funny. And just kind of then cut it right in. So it's in front of that big guy. And you take that dark color. And you want to have it like, it's a mountain ridge, and it literally will have this line back here. I'm gonna put one way in. I should have put it in there first, but I just thought of it. And you can do that as long as you don't go crazy with it. And I'm just gonna give it that peak back there. You know, and it's just kind of like that. Now we're coming forward, so we're gonna get a little darker. But I have a sneaking suspicion these guys back here really need to be a little bit more present. So what happens? You have a separation. So what that means is this one, it's going to overlap this way. This guy right here, he's going to overlap that one. Now you see what I'm talking about as far as, and my point is on the top. I'm going to do this shadow side first. And put in my bright side. Okay, I'm going to have this now like a little lumpy. Now I want it to have this feeling of mist to kind of like fade all of that stuff out. They're huge right now. We're going to take, and that's okay if it's the dirty water. I'm going to water this brush down because it's not oil paint. You have to kind of do it that way. Water, get some of the water off, and you're going to pull it right at the base of those mountains. You're going to pull it right across. Just very lightly, just grab it. Just grab the base of those mountains. Now you want to have like a smoky cloud in there. A little bit of water, a little bit of white. Just kind of pull it and let it do its thing and just kind of let it go. Pull it, let it go. Pull it, let it go. Now you're getting the idea that there's water back here. Okay? Now you're giving the illusion of it, of something really amazing is going on. Okay? And of course, this little dude ain't gonna be in front of anybody. Okay? And I don't want to make that to be that. Just pull it across. Water it down because you don't want it to be thick because we're doing a wash. Yes, we're doing the chisel brush, we're doing a wash. And just lightly pull it across your picture. Now, if you wanted to make this have flow, I don't need to do this, but I'm doing it to show you. If you wanted to show flow of the water, this is what you do. You want reflection of this, because the covered bridge, we can put it like here, coming through from this side, if we want to. I think I'm going to do that and use the chisel brush. You can use whatever you want. I'm going to cut in where the mountain base stops. Okay? And then I'm going to put a little bit of water on it. And I'm going to pull it down to show almost what's above. So this has this way, right? You see this mountain here? And I'm going to pull it down. Just like this. And some of this makes go. And you make your own little shoreline or whatever that mountain lake, whatever's up there. Okay. And you can see some of the colors are starting to disappear. They're fading out. And I actually accidentally grabbed some of the green, but that's okay. And you want it to mimic what's above. That's dark over there. That mountain up there. This one, not so much. I'm going to flip it back. Now, that's when you go in again. And you go in and you put your shoreline back in. Like this. And I'm going to get that brush just a little wetter. I'm going to do the same thing all the way across. It tends to dry out when it's, the acrylic, because it's really not. It's not a true gesso, but hey. And this is where we're going to get that mist above the water. Because I'm tapping and pull very lightly, okay? And it's giving this, I like the misty look, the fog kind of thing. And then to give movement to that water, you do this. You take it with a point and you go. This to me, that looks like a really cool looking reflection. And I'm going to make my mountain shorter because of it. Because I don't want them to be huge honking things. I want it to look like they're being swallowed as fog. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job. They're being swallowed up. I haven't done a landscape like this in forever. And I'm going to come forward and I'm going to leave that look. You can go and put in little spots of where it is. Just like this. And I think that's good. But I do want a little bit more of the misty look. So I put some more white on my brush. I actually loaded it up. And then I watered it a little. And then I'm going to do the same thing. But I'm going to do it in spots. I'm not going to do the whole all the way across. I'm going to get spots of it. And then the spots that I want to kind of like accentuate, like where it's lighter, is put some more white in. So it's not, there's no rule to it. And there's nothing that says you got to do it this way. This is just how mine's turning out. And I am excited because I've never seen anything look like this from my hands. I'm experimenting while you were walking the brush out. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can see ripples in it. And this is acrylic. This is not oil. Oil is a lot easier because it maneuvers. But I'm getting the exact same effect with acrylic. And I don't want it to be too thick. I want those mountains to get swallowed up by whatever that foggy stuff is. And I'm going to put an extra one over here. But he got ate up. And the same thing here. Yes, they have a dark shadow side. But this here, he's going to sit on him. And this one's kind of like in front of it. And it's like, and you can see that they're back there. I've seen this growing up all the time. Places where you have these mountain ranges, but you have to kind of travel to them. This is a really rocky area where this is, and you're going to have these spots in there that are between the mountains that are dark, that are like crevices or whatever. And then you just lightly bring that mist up. Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring the mist up. Bring the mist up. Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it up. And put another one back here. Because we need a shade side to these guys. I don't have enough in there. I don't have enough water, I guess. Yeah, that's what it was. I don't have a whole lot. I just put a little tiny bit of the dark blue in here. And you just kind of stick that in there. And like this one is overlapping this guy, and this guy's overlapping that one. And so you could put it in there. That's your dark spot there. And like in this one, in this case. But when you get down to this part, there, you're going to do this. Bring it up. And it's all just like that. Now, I'm emptying the paint out of my brush. Look what I'm doing. What am I doing? I'm getting dark coming forward. You don't need that guy there. Now this is where Bob Ross comes in. You can do that with his brush. I love this chisel kind of edge brush. And you want to mimic what's above. You really want to kind of like look, try to put a little point in there, and then go and come across and take it out. So it's there. And that's how you do that part. This is this way of blues. So I'm going to take that dark blue. I think that turquoise blue. And I'm going to add a little bit of water because it needs to have a gradual flow into the front, forward.
Okay,
So I'm going to go like this. I've never been able to do mist in the mountains, and I just did it. I just did it. Hey, there you go. I'm going to split this up into two. And I'm going to do the covered bridge next. I got to see what came in the mailbox. I lost my nose. I lost it. Pretty cool. There it is. Well, let's do this and let's put the cover. What the heck? Ooh, it's going to have red. And it's going to stop right about there. Okay? It's stopping there because the construction of a covered bridge has stones under it. And that's what holds it up. And you want to make sure you get the roof line right. So when you're coming like this, and I'm going to have it come all the way down here. Okay, when it comes forward like that, it's going to be wide open here. This is going to be the opening right here. Here's your opening, your covered bridge. But it's going to go, see where it ends up. Not really. But we're going to make it end up here. We're going to have some kind of land source back here. Okay, there's going to be like a road back there. Now this is where I'm putting the fall colors in. So right at where that water. This actually created a little bank there. Okay. Now to get the other part of your bridge up, now this is going to look strange to you, I'm sure. It's going to be real tiny, right like that. But when it comes up here, this is your opening. That'll be bridge, your covered bridge. Okay. It's not line, any architecture kind of things. Yeah. It's going to be just a little like this. Now the thing with a covered bridge is it's made with slats of it. So it comes just like, literally, it comes like this. Okay? It comes like that. And you think, what? But you got to put the roof. But your sides of it are these vertical parts. The smaller brush to do this. Which I didn't put there. And the lid just going is make the boards. Put them in there. Put your boards in there. But they're, as you go back, they get thinner. And you can make the illusion that for that, you don't have to get real specific. I'll show you why. This is where you learn what a roof line looks like by just doing it. And I gotta go down because the bridges always had a really dark kind of here on this side of the water. I'm going to put in a bank in here. This is your road back there. This is the roof. Red. Every single one of them that I ever saw growing up is barn red color. Solid barn red. It was just inside. You're going to see. It's that part right there. Oh, of course, I'm going to fix this. I'm sitting in a weird angle. But that's all you're going to see. You're not going to see any of that roof. Because you're looking at it from this side. It's angled this way. So you only see that side. And that's the side you want to see. And see, I'm going to try to use every single bit of this that's on my plate here. And there's openings between them, but you're not going to see it. When this is dark out, you're not going to see it because this is the shade side. But I wanted you to be able to see the color of the building somehow, okay? Okay. I should have gone this way. I just made my perspective fun. But, you know, I'm trying to get it so that I can fix that. But it's because of the way I'm sitting. I did mess up. I'm silly. And then it comes forward. That part's messed up. That's your roof line. And the back side of it, it just fades where it is. So, turn that on. You can still see it. And then it becomes longer and longer and longer. I don't know if you've ever noticed a fence around a farm. That's what does that. Now I need to fix my blue water road. I really need to fix that. That stupid brush, you're going in the garbage. It was made a mess. I'm gonna put that blue back in there because I angled it incorrectly for a minute. Just for the roof line down, and then you take all that out, and you just make it back into the water. That's where your gesso comes in handy. You can fix stuff like that. You can make it like it's icy patchy. But I'm going to take all that paint off of there. Trust me, it's not going to stay there. No, it's not. That could be snow on there. But we're not doing snow. I love snow scenes, but I'm not doing snow right now. So that is on there. I'm going to put the blue back in it. Where it belongs. Okay? Just like this. And the reason why I don't mind that color's in there is for two things. All the leaves fall in the water, they tinge the water, and the water's not going to be the same color on one side as the other anyway. And that's a statistical country fact. So I'm going to take all of that boo-boo stuff out. But there's something in the water. I don't know what it is. It's just a nice color put in there. It could be a reflection off of something in the sky. Who knows? The ozone up there. And you just kind of smooth it out. So then you can go down here. Now, a lot of times what happens with these covered bridges is something is like going to bloom over the roof. So it would fix it anyway. And that's what I'm going to do over there. I'm going to put some monster thing over it. I don't know what yet. But not see what's in there. So the covered bridge opening is actually squared off. You have this little eave looking thing in the front. That's your roof line. And if you put this in first, it actually helps with your angle. I didn't do that. I should have. But you see what I'm doing? I am putting in a lot of dark blue watercolor to kind of draw you into it. And I'm going to show you a really cool trick. And you're doing something where it's a tunnel. There is a look of light to dark. So it starts out and you're going, yeah, it's dark. But then you see these little areas where, wait, it's light over there. Now you get your depth in your cover bridge, which you really can't see it, but I'm going to show you because it's important. Your perspective on this. Let's try to sit it on the edge here without knocking it off. If you want it to give the illusion that you can see that wall over there. So what I'm doing is I'm giving another horizon, another perspective from this front corner, from the opening in to the covered bridge. And then I'm going to make that even darker. So these are almost like pitch black when you first walk into them. Or we walk up on them, you see them. And that's just how they are when it's, evening time anyway. So you go up and get some black, just a little bit. I don't like using black in paintings, but for this, it's kind of almost, you gotta. And so this, it slowly gets darker as it goes back. And you can see the indication that there are boards. There's a wall. There's a wall. The road is meeting the opening. The road is asphalt. It's black. Okay. This is your wall on the other side, and you just kind of, you can just, I use some water for that, and kind of draw it down. Just kind of bring it down. Let that little bit of light source come through the slats. Those are boards. That's how they're built. They're built with boards, and that shows you. Now you can see you're walking into it. Do you see what I'm talking about? This is the perspective. Bringing someone into it. So you start out. This is the only place on this where it kind of starts like that is how. But you can these they got all kinds of crazy colors on the dark side. It's like it's actually the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and one of them. And you can go crazy with it, and you can put all different kinds of shades. Then you get to put the rocks in that hold up the foundation of a cover bridge, and that is so much fun. See, as it goes backwards, or it goes further away, you're going to make sure you water this down, and it gets more muted as far as it goes back. You see how it's getting muted, but the blue is reflecting off onto it. You see what I'm saying? It reflects off of it. Now on the front, it's going to show that almost a really deep red for the opening or the doorway. You really need to do it. They have crisscross boards. They got all these interesting designs that way. I need to make sure that this still has the red, like barn reds, but inside, not so much. I'm going to let some of that red, and it's like, why are they still standing? But that's their character. I'm just putting some of these touches of red in there, and then I'm going to darken it up at the base so that you can still see you're walking into a dark bridge. And this goes over. And a lot of times, there'll be from somewhere, there's a light source. It kind of peaks. So I'm going to take the point at the end of this. I'm just going to put a little, where's that light coming from? Who knows? Okay. Then I'm going to go back and play with this roof a little bit. But I want to give it some tin kind of look. And then if I had the right, I just don't like changing my brush. For some reason today, I just don't want to change it. Because I feel like I'm a mess. See? Okay, where's that light coming from? And then just go and make your path go all the way back inside. All the way back inside. And the outside, it looks like it's just the outside. But you can see the red part on the outside. Even though this is basically a dark spot in the front. Yeah. But I want to get a little bit of a bright spot. Sometimes someone tries to put like a fresh coat of paint on this old stuff. I'm like, why'd you do that? So it looks down. And it's going to overhang. On this side, it's going to overhang. Cut itself short right here. And just go down. That's my covered bridge. I love covered bridges. I have never done one with these colors, but I like it. And I'm going to darken this roof on just a little bit more. Just because it should be darker. It's going to have some imperfections here and there. That's cool. And I'm going to lighten up the back side because, why? It's further away. Put that road in there a little bit better. See? Now this is my roof line. I'm going to define that just a little. It's going to have a shadow under the lip of the roof. So now, see how this is making it look deeper. And some more water. And I'm going to put the base of this cover bridge all the way back. And I'm going to go back and play with it. But underneath the front of a covered bridge, and the front part of it, there is a stone kind of structure made to hold it up. And it's on all of them. So now I'm going to add some brown in the picture because I need stones. And I need them to be brown, white, and black can be in there. So, and it's like a pillar. So they're held by this pillar, just like that. They actually do look. And then like on this one, there's going to be if there's a real long bridge, they have 3 of them. And so this will typically come out, move further this way, and you'll have one right smack dab like in the middle, right in the water. Something to work with. This road back here, it's going to come out from that eave of that covered bridge, and it's going to go across that way. It don't go this way. This road goes around this way. Well, there's nothing else on the other side. So we're going to take the red and that brown, no more of the red, and we want this to actually show some of that red. Just put some boards in there. They're very dark. Okay, we stayed with the idea of a little bit of that same color, and we're going to give it a reflection all the way down, because you can't see that other side, but you know something is hitting it, and you get all the way to the back of it, and you can literally pull it. If you pull it, and that's when you start to get that marbling kind of effect, which is really cool, especially on a covered bridge. That is on the roof. It's going to be on this edge of this side as well. This not so much. And in the front, if you don't believe it or not, there are slatted pieces of wood also. They go up, they go vertical. So the front is vertical. These are horizontal. Or yeah, those are the other way. Yeah, diagonal, excuse me. So there. That's exactly what they look like. I would not steer you clear when it comes to a covered bridge, because they're like I did painting of a burned up old house, and it was so neat. I felt bad that the house was, but hey, it made for great composition. Bushes in here. And there's rocks over here. I told you it was going to come off of there. Same rocks that are holding that. It's a kind of a rocky bank. And not a whole lot else going on there. This is where you get to have fun with making things look like. So get some white, get some red, brown, and you're just going to play. On this side, it doesn't matter. Gotta be dark anyway, so you just kind of like cut them in there. You know, and of course this part of it should be lighter. I'm going to assume that something's hitting it. And even though it is on the dark side of the bridge, and it's just kind of like, there's going to be a nice little bush down here just kind of like freaking out. And some green. There's no rules. You just do something and make it happen. And this guy here, same deal. Something's in there. On this side, since we're in the foreground, it is going to have some kind of shrubbery. I don't remember what kind of shrubbery we're going to put in there. But it's fall, so we're going to have the yellows and the golds and all that sort of thing. I need yellow, don't I? I need yellow. I got orange in here. And I got the green and that sort of thing. It's all that. And that's the only way they had a way of getting to the bad guys. So I'm taking some of this yellow. And I'm going to mix with some of that red. And there's a bush on fire. Right here. There is a bush on fire. Right here. Come here, you. You need to come out of there so I can show people. There is a little bush right here that is on fire. But it needs some more of this. See the rocks that are holding up the bridge, but that's okay. And then there's going to be just a little touch. What do we call them? What are those? Forsythias, I think is what they call them. And you put your different little things in here. Different shades of green and stuff. And you're like, hey, wait, where'd that come from? It's supposed to be dead. Well, they don't all die. And this is like a little evergreen bush. They're everywhere. And you don't have to be specific. There's no rule that says you have to make it look like a real tree. No, you don't. Do what you want. It's your art. Put the stones in there. Put some strange color flower that you're just like, what kind of flower is that? I don't know. It just showed up. Is it moss? I don't know, maybe. What I like to do also with something like this is put in those wispy bits of grass. But I do have to use a different brush. You're able to do a little bit more detail damage. So you can go, oh, come on. if you just kind of touch and pull real quick, you can get this kind of tall grass looking something or other. Kind of hiding in there. And he's like, where'd I have? It's in there. If you want to lighten it up so you can see it a little bit better, even though it's in the foreground, it's still dark. You can do. And you want it to like kind of follow the rock line and go back and then give it that pop of fire, Oh, look at that. What the heck is that? Oh, some bush. And you can make it into a bush. And just play. Just play with the color and get it to do what you want it to do. You want some stems in there, where they might be. They're going to have to be more at the base anyway. It's impressionist art. The most important thing that you should know. It's impressionist art, and there is no specifics on it. That is one pretty little bunch of bluebells or something in there. I don't know what they are. So I take the smaller brush, and I'll go back and make it like it's the big one, and actually do some of this damage control with. It's not damage control. That's awesome. It's with the geometric portion of it having shadows and that sort of thing, and being in layers. Like this is now a layer of rock. See, this is now a rock layer, but I want it to look like marble, so I'm going to put in these little stripes of this. Like granite has little stripes of white or flecks, whatever we call it, and do the same thing in a couple other different spots. And so it doesn't have to be. Now, if I wanted to specify in some way, I would take some of this green and brown, greenish brown yellow kind of thing, and make just something that is sitting there. It's just kind of sitting in there. I don't know what it is. It's probably moss. So you can see it, and then to show that it's there, just touch, just letting that slow light. And you want to darken it up? Yeah, the blue, the yellow and the green. And now you can say, oh, okay, got it. So this now is some kind of greenery. There, you can see the rocks underneath, and it's like that's what I say. And to give it a shadow of it, just put a little ridge into there. It doesn't have to be specific. These rocks here holding that thing up, they're going to have different colors on them from whatever's grown on them. This little flowery kind of spot in there, it just showed up. It doesn't know any rules. It doesn't like rules at all. And I'm going right here by the base of that bridge. If it needs something, make it go. You grab it, go. Grab it and go. Pull, grab it, pull. Now, what you got to remember though is under the bridge is dark. There is a shadow on that water under there, so that you need to define it. Okay, just define it. Define it. And if it's too bright, it needs to be darker. Add a little bit of darker colors. Give it some character. Give it some flow. But that is how you show. There's a light source on the other side, but on this side is a dark bunch of water. But only in that one spot, not all the way under it, just in that one spot. Just in that one spot. I gotta clean this white, because there's going to be dirt in that water under there, There's movement. You ever looked under a covered bridge before? It is just like water under a boardwalk. There's stuff that moves around, and you can kind of see the indication of it. And so you can't ignore it. You can't say it doesn't exist. And with that there, it could be washing some dirt down from upstream. So it's not going to be perfectly blue. You can wish that it was, but this is also the roof of the covered bridge. You want the covered bridge roof colors to show in the water on this side, even if it's just subtle. If it's just subtle, it's great. That's perfect. especially that one spot where it's like kind of bright. Why it's bright in that one spot, I don't know. Maybe they put a fresh coat of paint on it. But you want it to mimic water under the bridge disappears, and now you're into the water. Now you're going to have this roof in that water, the reflection. And it should be almost the same color, but in the water. So, for being what it is. And so you just kind of put it in there. You're putting in the color from that roof in the water. That's supposed to be in there. It really is. Go out sometime and look at a watery spot and look at what is above it or over top of it. And you tell me if it doesn't look like there's two of them. There's a mirror. There's a mirror look. There's a mirror reflection in that water. And here it's going to be a little darker towards the bank here anyway. And I got to get some of this paint out of here. You don't want too much paint towards at this stage because you're trying to blend it out. You're trying to make it so it's believable. It's like, oh, I heard it. And you even want to put in the striping, believe it or not, of the roof. You do. You want to just kind of, a bunch of them. And then what I do is I take a dry brush with this flat dry brush, just like this. And that is what you smooth it out with. You smooth that out. So now it looks like it's blurred. It is blurred. Now you can kind of see where this roofing is like, oh, you can see the water. It's dark underneath. And it stops where you can see the roof. And there's that little chunk of stone under there. All right? And take that dry brush. And I'm going to draw this back to it. That is one way you can correct a mistake. If you kind of overdid it, and you pull it, put it where it belongs, back underneath. That's what you should do. And this was a totally dry. And see, there's more stones under there. They could be washing up under there. We don't know. We'll put tiny bit of water on it. Literally, not even. It's like, The water's not going to be pristine on the side because it's washing down the river. Something's washing. Farther away. I love these reflections. It's like, oh. You want to lighten it up just a little bit. You want to go over more of a gray look, more of a muted look. So you go back to the road in the back, and you want to give it that almost kind of, so it's not going to be perfect. And it's actually going into the covered bridge and at the from where the water is. And when it comes out, I think I'm going to do that anyway. And take that white and blue that's already back there. I'll patch that up a little bit. And we don't know how wide that road is, do we? No, we don't know. We have no clue. We guess. We can try to say we know. We don't know. You see, now you can't see the distance because this little road back here, it's like, and there's no road over on the other side because you know what's over there? A big bunch of. And that's why this road is not going to be absolutely perfect either. I like the little bit of green that did sneak in there. It's okay. Not bothering me any. In fact, it's actually a good help. That's why it's really getting murky under there. I have not done a cover bridge in a long time, but I really love them. There's so much character. You can do so much with them. And you don't need to, but it's really cool. And I'm just going to make sure that my I don't want green in there. That my sides are defined. That's where they stop. Yep. And then I want to make sure that I can show at least an indication of boards that are there. And even if it means going through and taking little stripes of umber or raw umber or a raw sienna or a really dark brown, and you can do that. And just let it do its thing. That is for real. Just kind of looking at them. It's like, wait a minute. It's got that color too. So we have it kind of faded out towards the back. And it looks like there's like bubbles or something under there. And that's cool. That shows movement in the water. It's the only thing that's going to like peek out over there. Now, the other side. I can, but I don't want that dark stuff to kind of like peek through. I'm going to add the blue. Give it some more color. But then when I do that, I got to do something that's like on top of those rocks. It's just like, it ain't doing something. It's called ragweed. Now you see how just going like this with a stiff brush. This bristle brush goes. It's like, oh, I don't know what that grass is, but something. You do all kinds of. I like to play with the paint, and that's the whole thing. Play with. If you want to add, highlight in it, even though there's like really not a good light source, do it anyway. It's your painting, like this. See. Excuse me. Just do it. Do it and have fun. Painting's supposed to be fun. Not supposed to be work. It's supposed to be fun. I'm going to take most of that out. That paint out of there. And maybe it's got brown in it. I want the brown in the water. But, and there is a lot of green in the water. But where I grew up, but it's called moss. Fungus or whatever. Now on the other side of this area, see, it's churning as it's coming across here. I'm going to fix this color here. I don't want to cover it up. Yeah, I know. But I just can't stand to see that funky color in there anymore. We're going to have overhanging branches. And I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can for time's sake. And it does not matter what the devil's in it. Very pronounced. Okay? We're going to make sure everybody comes up on this thing, sees that doorway. Try. I'm going to pull this up because it is getting lost back there. And then, take this here. I hate that it does that. I don't have any other way of doing it. And I hate that someone keeps putting this damn phone. And make it really obvious that comes back. Way back in there. Putting that as dark as you can get it. Going backwards. I've seen them where they had a knot in the wood and the wall on the other side. A little lighter at the opening. But I mean, they are made out of wood. Me, man. If it keeps falling down, I don't like it. Okay? I'm going to do it right here. And right there. And it doesn't have to be even in the front. It could be a really crooked bridge. Like, boom. Right? I'm going to go boom, 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 boom. That's what just like this. All the way. Okay? This does come across. I had put knots in one of these one time. Put the big old knot hole in. It's actually very characteristic to have a big old knot hole right here. in the very front of these things. I have a knot hole. I don't know how, I don't know why, but they always have some big old knot hole. It's from the tree that it was cut from. So it's like, right, you put a knot hole, you gotta put the little vertical kind of thing to show the pores. Right? Inside it's dark. It's going to the back. And you're going to go there. I've been walking a long ways in there. Okay. Big, whatever it is. It's going to go on the other side. I got to get a bigger brush. I'm going to finish this up really quick. Use this big old brush. I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to use my fan brush. This ain't going to be good. Yeah. The dark blue on here. I'm mixing everything together. I'm just going to mix it. Come on, get in there, y'all. There we go. And okay. So I'm gonna go. I actually did one time. Paint. I did a part that I didn't want to paint. I just covered it up. I just made it look like something was growing there. I don't know what was growing there, but there was something. And this stuff came across. You don't have to explain it. Just do it. Do it. I'm going to take this yellow and this orange, and this is like crazy fall colors. Just like this. Branches look more interesting. Gotta make it darker in the front. Close it dark up a little closer. Yellow green. Now this paint's got pretty thick. So I'm going to take the fan brush here in just 2 seconds. I don't have any clue what this thing is that's growing here. Not a clue. Nope. But I am going to get a big fan brush. I want orange. I need orange. Some kind of dang orange. There's one. Ha. And the brown and the orange are going to take over. Yep, they are. They are going to take over. You ready for this one? Look at this. Watch this. Watch. What I'm going to do. Something going on down here. And then so we've got something going on here. It's got orange in it. Right? Whatever that thing is, it's there. I don't know what that is, but it's in there. There you go, this now. Watch this. Watch this one. I know it's fall. Should I put snowflakes on it? Should I make it like it was trying to snow? What do you think? Should I? On the branches? I think so. Look at this. Look at this. It's got snow. It's got snow. There is snow trying to fall. And it is all over back in there. All over back in there. It's even going to be in the mountains. Watch this. It's going to be in the mountains. Look at this. It tried to snow back there. Uh-huh. Yeah, it sure did. Look at, there's some bush over here. It ain't got stuff on it. You see that bush over there? Did you know that? You didn't know that? Yeah, they got some back there too. And actually, it was alongside the road. It was like all these bushes right by the road. And there was like, man, it was massive. And even on the rocks, on the shoreline, yeah. It had snow like drying on there. Didn't you see it? I did. I pointed out there and like, man, it got snowed on. Either that or that's those little crazy white flower bushes that I keep seeing. But you know, if it snowed on that, it had to snow on that covered bridge, didn't it? It had to try to snow on the covered bridge. It just wanted to give it a nice little white outline on the roof. Yeah. Ever seen that on anything? And it kind of trickles down a little bit. And then, you know, there were patches on the roof. Just patches of snow here and there. And then there were icicles covered bridge. Yep. They pumpkin icicles. Yeah, we had icicles. We've had icicles before. And now I gotta go back and darken this front up because it can't be all about the icicles, you know. Gotta put that back in there. You know, falling off of there. We don't need to think about it. But that one board in the front that comes across is always going to have some snow on it. And this branch over here, it hang over. It did like hang over the thing. Because it wanted to say, hey, I don't like the corn. And it's very barely, see. We used to pick them icicles off there and eat them. Yuck, right? Ew. Who eats dirty icicles? We did. And you can even make it so that little bit of frozen, whatever it is all the way down there. I mean, it does drip down the sides like that. I'm just going to pay. I think we're done. I think we're basically done, except for signing it. And this is actually, you know, it's not unusual for them to be a little crooked. I remember that too. My dad said, hey, they're all crooked. Just like this. Like this. Oh, yeah, you go like this. Oh, where's that knot at? It's in there somewhere. It's in there somewhere. It's right there. He did. Look at the inside. Look at the inside. It's still. I was like, I don't want to play too much. I don't mess it up. I've done that. I've messed up things before. And I didn't mean to, but it's like, it's missing something. And I had to add, and I had to add, and I had to stop. But, see, there was too much blue in the entrance anyway. It needed brown. It needed brown, needed black. Just like this. I'm opening here, but I gotta fix it because the angle that I was standing was not conducive to it. I'm not doing it any justice. And I'm going to make sure that people know that this little guy, I'm trying to think, the boards, oh yeah, the boards in the inside go horizontal. So you got to put them in there. I forgot about the boards inside. They're all wooden. That's what was missing. That is exactly what was missing. I said, something missing. Something is missing, and it was the boards on the floor. Not the ones on the side, the boards on the floor. Well, I'm going to show you what we've got now. I think we have got us a very lovely covered bridge with some crazy weather going on here. It just wants to snow, and it doesn't know what else to do. And so that's our covered bridge. That's our perspective. You start forward and you work your way back. You have to have the little reflection in the water to make it believable. And that's where you draw people to your particular style of painting. I'm just putting a little bit more color to the rocks part. They're not an abutment. They're a rock foundation kind of pillar. And now it's done.
Anybody here?
Yep, and now it's done.
Nobody here without chickens, huh?
Yeah, honey, no, it's done. Alrighty, well, we are finished with our little, what's this thing? Covered bridge. Come on. Hello.